All right, what's going on, everybody? If you're watching this on YouTube and Facebook, the question of the day is I'm asking 10 people at pretty much random, what is your message to the world? Trying to let other people have a chance to say what they want to say and have people hear it that maybe wouldn't normally hear it. The following stream will feature people from all over the world, male and female, Canada, New Zealand, America, multiple ethnic groups, immigrants, mothers, and even high school kids. Most media doesn't allow voices like these to get heard and speak their mind. I will today, and most of these people were chosen completely at random. Any perspective spoken is strictly the perspective of the speaker, and I think people should be allowed to tell their story regardless of what media and government around the world wants them to think. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let's see, Jordan Toaste, I'm going to bring you on. I just saw you. I'm kind of picking at random. So within 5 seconds, Jordan, you're on the live. And the question is, what's your message to the world? Let's do the words. What's up, Jordan?
Hey, what's up? How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
What's your message to the world? That's the question.
My message to the world is to live in power and not in fear, and to stop being a pussy. Stand up.
I like that.
That's
How's
it.
it like that? Like, how do you feel with the fear of the last year? It feels like they're definitely ramping it up, yeah?
They're definitely ramping it up, for sure. For sure.
Right. Anything else?
That's all. That's all I wanted to say.
I like it. That's short, that's sweet, and I appreciate it.
All right. See you later.
All right. You're a legend. Thank you. All right. We're just flipping through legends on there. I love that. Just short and sweet. He said, don't live in fear and don't be a pussy. I mean, enough said. Let's see. I'm going to bring in Amir real quick. I don't know if I've got to chat with Amir on the live stream, but that's what it is. We're bringing in Amir in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And Amir, what's going on?
What up, brother? How are you?
Good to see you. Congrats on the success. Have we talked on stream?
Thank you.
Maybe
no,
one time.
not yet.
No, we haven't. Okay. I think I've just come in your live stream and maybe commented or something,
vice
versa. So that's what it is today. What's your message to the world?
Dang. The message to the world is to pay attention to the person in the mirror. Pay attention to the person in the mirror, the people that you love, and the community around you. And the more we actually pay attention to that and harness the love and intention into that, the more that'll spread across the world. But too many people are focused around what's happening in this city, what's happening online. No, focus on what's in the mirror. If you aren't going to bed with a smile on your face, then what are you doing?
That's real. I love that. And
that's my message.
I saw that in politics. I think when I came into the game in 2016 and I started caring more, I came from like that kind of energy. I read like books like that were always talking about self-accountability. And I saw how politics was just like vicious, everybody hating on each other. And then you learn like even what I thought was, considered more liberal and stuff, where it's like they're always concerned about everyone else. And in the city that we live in, I'm like, you guys, we're not even focused on our community, the businesses, the people around here.
Exactly.
And I think that's like a root level problem that no one talks about is, there's a lack of that. Well, anything else?
More. No, that's pretty much it. Keeping it short and simple.
All right, I'll have you on another time. I definitely like to chat in long form. Thank you, Amir. I
Please do.
It.
Always, brother. See you.
All right, let me see. I figured out how to actually remove people. So, all right. I remember one time, I don't know if you guys remember, the guy was chewing on the root in my live stream, and I couldn't figure out how to remove him, and he was there for like a while. That was pretty funny. I think that was in the question about Trump. So let's see. I want to get on the Wandering Samoan again. I think he's from New Zealand, but he was on the last time. It was great, and his message was cut off because he had bad connection. We want to bring him back in. Everybody loved him. So let's go. Wandering Samoan, I think you should be on in like a couple seconds. 3, 2, 1. My man, you're back.
Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir. Bless you, man. And honestly, I loved hearing what the other guys were saying, The other guy was saying, don't, especially in a time like this, number one is stand your ground, don't be in fear. Like he was saying, don't be a pussy. And the other guy was saying, at the same time, I love, like, there's so much information going so fast everywhere. And he's like, don't get so pulled everywhere. It's like, focus on your community, focus on the people close by and yourself as well, because that's the real change that you can bring. And, if I were to say to people, in context of what the previous two were saying, is like, with everything going on, don't stray from the truth, because despite as much misinformation, the truth will never change. And like God says, be still and wait. And the good will always prevail. With everything going on, the good will prevail, but it may take some time. That's all my encouragement today, no matter what everyone's going through. Just trust God, man.
Love that, man.
Persevere and stand, and don't get pushed away from the misinformation. Love yourself and be a firm stander, not a weak stander.
I love it. And I want to follow up with you too, because first of all, everybody liked you from the last stream, and you got cut off with that connection. So I think you're in New Zealand, right? Give us an update what's going on there, because it was so dope, and we kept you on for a while because it was choppy. But I was like, even though it's choppy, I was like, I got to keep this guy on because you know, you're a good guy, and also you're giving us this info that we don't get in the media about New Zealand. So give us an update.
Oh, bless you, sir. No, heck yeah. An update. No, and like you said, the thing about New Zealand now, of course, I can understand if you do a Google search, New Zealand's a beautiful place, but the politics here is very, it's like leading to peaceful socialism. And the thing about our prime minister, and you know, I'm not against, you know, I still want to pray that God gives her the right decisions. But the thing is that the media covers her this so way that it leads a lot of the people astray. You know, I think they call it populism or something. Yeah, but because how popular she is with the media, that's what got a lot of the votes. But then and so what's going on now is that they're really, oh man, at one point, you know, the quarantine, they put out a post because we were supposed to get the vaccines I think somewhere last year, and a lot of people complaining, you know, if New Zealand, so to speak, was the safest place, why are we still waiting for vaccines? Not only that, they put out this post. I don't know why aren't people putting enough, but the post clearly said was, when we bring the vaccine, underneath, clear as crystal, said, we do not guarantee though that this will stop the virus from either spreading or from hitting you. And I thought, what kind of government puts that out there? What kind of government says that you're practically treating the people here like test subjects? You know, you're practically saying, look, here's the vaccine, but if it doesn't help you, and you know what they need to realize, it's like almonds. Almonds are healthy, but not everybody has the same reaction. Some people are allergic. Some people can have severe allergic reactions that can actually, you know, hurt their life. And I think what people there, I think they're slowly trying to, you know, as you can see, they want vaccine passports. They want all these things going on. They want you can't travel until you can prove that you've been vaccinated. Now, I'm not against vaccination if it works, and if you got a weak immune system. But the numbers say it all. That's what I don't like. The numbers, we've seen it. If you Google the numbers, and I'm sure you've done it too, and if you do the number that have recovered, you see that 99.9 something people have recovered. But you know,
and what's the deal with the lockdowns there? Because you don't have that many cases, but you're saying last time that they'll lock down for like one case or something, right? Correct?
That's right. So what happens is that, okay, what they do now, I don't know how they played it, because at one point, right, when the first breakout came in, all of a sudden there was a period where exactly on the 100th day, there was a period where we had 100 days of no cases. And right after the 100th day, all of a sudden, there was a breakout and whatnot. And, you know, because at that point, since it was still fresh, this pandemic was still new, everyone was like, oh, okay, it must be scary. But then, you know, some people started questioning. All of a sudden, the 100th day, the virus decided to stop taking a vacation. If it's so, why the 100th day? And yeah, like you were saying, so what they call it is they call it a community case. So if they have cases in managed isolation from overseas, they'll be like, it's all good, you know, it's in managed isolation. But if they have one community case, which they think they can't trace, which is impossible for anybody to fully trace anything, because if it's so contagious, you can't just say that you can trace it. But if they had, I think there were a couple of kids, I think it was one kid in a specific area in a school, and they practically, because of this one kid, and they could not trace it, or they were worried about how much it spread, they practically shut down our whole city. Now, there's a bit of an inconsistency, because what is sad is that when small businesses got hit, if someone with a COVID case walked into the small businesses, they would practically get shut down for a long time. They would have to go through a quarantine period, a cleanup, whatnot. But when some of these bigger places, you know, these bigger, almost like a Walmart, so to speak, if they got hit, you didn't see things being, they'd be like, just shut it down for the day, clean it up, and then, you know, but and also, this is one thing I want to bring out.
Yeah, please.
At one point last year, first of all, I'm really happy the connection is really stable this time.
It's very
Thank
good.
God.
I want to just follow
Yeah,
up because some people are just coming in. So he's from New Zealand and basically saying if, you know, they get really crazy about cases because they eliminated it, right, for a little bit and then a case comes back. But what you're saying is that they, you know, they'll treat small businesses. And you see that even here with certain Amazon and Walmart. And, you know, what's the science of, you know, I watch the NBA, I like basketball. Okay, so if you're going to
absolutely.
wear a mask, they pull it up and down 1,000 times because they can't hear the coach when the coach screams. So he pulls it down. They got 10 players sweating on each other. And then they sit. So, you know, people, I just want to say this because I know when I put this on Facebook and YouTube, they're dying to try to censor it. Nobody's anti whatever. It's just like you guys are holding us ransom for a year over a pharmacy product. And then also, you know, it seems like in New Zealand, what you're saying is you feel like they're treating small businesses different than big businesses as far as what they have to do when they get a COVID case.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the thing. And what's so and just like you said, the mask thing. At one point, you know, like you said, if you on the website, and I love there are a few politicians here that are fighting back, and I'm sure like every nation, which is good. And on the CDC and the World Health Organization, as now we're seeing more than ever, they're saying studies show masks don't prevent it, and it's common sense. I know people who work around dangerous chemicals in factories that will kill them if they breathe them, and they've got upgraded gear, I mean advanced sophisticated gear to protect them from the chemicals. If this is such a deadly virus, why do they want us to buy a $1 mask to protect us from it?
Yeah,
that does not make sense to me. Not only that, number two, you know, you could see, you know, they were forcing people to wear masks, you know, during athletics, and that blocks the ventilation. They can't breathe, and they faint. A lot of athletes were fainting, falling, and not completing the race because it's so stupid. Not only that, you have to wear it. It's so funny. The kids under 12 years old don't have to wear a mask, but if you're over 12, you need to wear a mask in public transport. But if you're in an Uber, you don't have to wear a mask. The inconsistency. If you're on a plane,
it's clearly not consistent, and it's also, you know, the crazy part
absolutely.
is they censor people for even questioning that, or they censor people from acting like that's not normal. So
That's
it's getting
exactly
crazy.
what our
I'm going to get
government
through
did.
some more people, but I want to say, you know, you're from New Zealand. We got your message at the beginning. What's your message to America with the lockdowns? Because that's really what I want to focus on, because I know you have this unique perspective that we don't
No,
really know what's going on in New Zealand or
no,
other countries.
my encouragement to America, I can see why you guys are the greatest is because you guys are the country with the most freedom. That's the reason why there's so much. And the problem is that with that freedom, there's the bad side abusing that freedom. But keep it up, keep fighting, because that's a light for us. And the reason why America is the greatest and these other nations aren't is because that freedom. Keep it up. We're watching, and it gives us the standard and a hope to hopefully adopt that culture and then bring it into our own nation. God bless you guys, man. And God bless you, people.
I'm glad we got to chat again.
Man, it's good to see you, sir. Thank you so much for having me on. God bless you all, man.
Always a pleasure. Talk to you soon.
God
All right,
bless.
thank you. That's the Wandering Samoan. Check him out. Give him some love. I want to bring in like 10 to 15 people, but I'd love to chat with him, Amir, a lot of other people in long form as well. What's your message to the world? That's what I wanted to get to. But with him, he's from New Zealand. He has a very unique perspective on what's going on in New Zealand. Canada, UK, we don't really know in America because the media doesn't cover it that honestly. So maybe India, if I can get some people. We're going to try to get that here. If anybody's from overseas, we're going to try to get their perspective on the pandemic because it's necessary. Let me see. This is Andrew the Russian. I don't know if you're in Russia now, but your name stood out to me, so I'm bringing you in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Andrew the Russian. Thank you for joining.
What's going on?
How are you?
Good.
What's your message to the world?
My message is keep things simple, enjoy the little things, and don't stress out too much. It'll be okay in the end.
Are you in America or no?
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay. No, I love the message. We'll keep it simple. And with the Russian stuff, like I'm just curious from your perspective. You know, everything Russian was kind of like low key forever until I think Trump got in and they tried to scapegoat Russia for everything. Like I know Russians are tough and I've never heard anyone really complain about it. But what was that like when people just kind of treat you normal from like everything is Russia? Like you eat cereal in the morning and they're like, it's Russia collusion. What did that feel like?
I don't know. I got a lot of shit for it, but I would always joke around with it, like, "Be careful, guys, or I'll rig the fucking elections again." Fuck your ass. You know?
Did your more like liberal friends actually start being like, "Hey, so have you been to Moscow recently?" Or what?
Nah, they weren't that assholes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like Russian people for the most are pretty tough. Where like I never really hear complaints or like I've never heard a Russian person complain about racism or You know,
No, they got other shit to deal with, dude. They got to worry about how they're gonna get their bottle of vodka for the day.
I know in Russia too, when people live there, like it seems like the people I've talked to, they have more than other countries, maybe because there's less of like this like propaganda pushed in. I'm sure they have their own, but they seem pretty like level-headed and strong, like where it's like you could have a conversation and they're not just like deflecting to like social justice things all the time. They're like, you know, definitely. They can like, I've seen some like logical takes where even if I don't agree, I'm like, okay, there's like a little bit of a thicker skin there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Russian people, they care more about character than anything else. If you're a good dude, you don't have any problems.
So stay blessed, and the message again, just let people know. So I got to stay calm too. I'm gonna do some deep breathing.
Stay calm. Don't stress out, dude. Take it easy. Enjoy the little things. What's
your favorite thing to like take the stress off? What's your favorite activity, like hobby or whatever, to like totally chill out?
Music and pooping.
All right. Well, listen, I think everyone can relate.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate all your work, man.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you, man. That was funny. I mean, honest as well. Listen, it's not the politically correct answer people wanted, but some people probably did. They relate to that. I'm bringing in someone else. That was good. Let's see. I got a lot of. All right, Dennis White. Looks like you're coming in, Dennis White, 63. You're at the bottom of the list. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Should be in any second if the connection is good. Let's see if it works. We got it. Looks like it's not. I'm gonna have to. Oh, okay, you're here. Got you. Dennis.
Hi, how you doing?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Just finished cooking dinner.
Oh, nice. What's for dinner?
Orange chicken, stir-fried rice.
Fire. I actually just ate that like 2 nights ago.
I
ordered it though.
No, it's fun to cook it though. You know.
Yeah, it's probably.
I have a great time. Have you heard the latest news today?
Not anything crazy yet.
Oh, it has. The FBI just raided Giuliani's apartment.
Oh, okay. No, I think I saw something, but in passing, I didn't really look into it.
Yeah, so you know, it's just the way the world's going crazy now. I mean, me from Chicago, and everybody, you know, the violence going on. Especially, it's more of the children that's getting killed than adults right there. And I'm just like thinking about my daughter, and she's 22 and she's about to graduate in another week, and I'm calling her every day and she be like, Dad, don't worry. No, I'm a parent. I have to worry. You know, you're the reason why I got the gray on me. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, if I don't want to get too political about it because I'm still learning about politics, but I think that they need to be more godly than ungodly about things in life, because if, like, for instance, if they so much into unifying this country, they need to work with the people and not with China or anybody else. You know, that's how I feel. I mean, that's my belief right offhand. I cannot impose mine on everybody else, and I don't think that's fair to do that. But I just want the unification for everybody right offhand, both white and black and brown too as well. So what is your input about unification?
Yeah, I mean, I love what you said about everything. I want to ask you about the Giuliani thing after, but with the unification, I think we were talking about on my stream yesterday, you know, the media is so wicked in the sense of, like, even if you have two people with opposing views, I find some of the people that they hate the most, if you put them in a room, they'd probably get along better than how the media frames everything. So I feel like a lot of it is like so media generated. Of course, there's hate and there's violence and stuff, but it seems like they have this way of getting people to, you know, fight and not really come to a solution. And also, like you were talking about the people here, not in China, like I feel like they hate us, you know? So you have these corporations that really control what people watch on television, what they watch in sports. And there is that's why when someone like Charles Barkley comes out and says something profound, like similar to what you said, people really love it because you just don't hear it that much. So I think it's possible. I think, you know, there's just so much media and education influence that you have people living in kind of like two different worlds right now. Some people who I believe like truly They don't really care about skin color, even religion to some extent, where it's like, listen, I just want to be with my family and live a good life. And then you have other people who want to wear 2 masks, you know, constantly talk about it, constantly, you know, be angry and stuff. So, you know, that's kind of how I feel about it. I think there's obviously going to be problems, but a lot of it is really pushed. And I think there's a reason they're doing it, to keep us, you know, down.
Yes, I mean, that's how I feel about it too. You know, like the media is playing a very input on how we think and how we live our life. And then if you say, well, you're a Republican, you know, I will respect your viewpoints on that, but I don't have to agree. But I will respect it, as opposed to me. I just decided to become a Republican because I'm tired of the Democrats of false narrative and false promises. You know, I was, you know, just like here in Chicago, you get rid of one Democrat and then you bring another Democrat in, and guess what? They get ready to replace that one because nobody ain't keeping their promises. So, to me, in my viewpoint is that Chicago is it's overdue now. We need a Republican mayor to at least try to bring down the crimes, the shooting rate. But it's up to us and everybody in the community to stop the shooting and stuff, especially these kids. I know how many kids got killed last year during the riot they had during the George Floyd murder. I know how many kids got killed, and I also know the name of the victims. But if you ask Lori Lightfoot, she probably won't know unless she get a teleprompter to help her out and stuff. So that's how I look at it. And then the activists, they come an hour later after the incident. So my thing is, this is my opinion. If you so much of an activist, should your role to be an activist is to prevent the crime and help the youth and stuff, instead of saying, well, we need to defund the police and put something in a social justice and stuff. So I never seen no social workers stop no crime. They might run away from crime, but I never seen them prevent the crime action.
I want to say something. I want you to say if it's accurate or not, because you know, I don't judge people based on politics. But what I see with the liberal activism, I say, because I've been to cities and I've seen the schools where they have on the walls the kids, you know, who've been killed, which is not usual in most communities. But if it's a high crime community, it's like that. I say I don't think liberals care if kids get killed, because in Chicago and in other inner cities, you have kids being killed at a crazy high rate, and they will never talk about it unless it fits their political or racial narrative. So that makes me ask the question, how much do you really care about these kids? Because to me, whether it's George Floyd or this person, I don't want innocent people dying, especially children. So if you guys ignore 1,000 kids dying because there's no racial or political narrative, it makes me think they just don't care about these kids. Like, do you think that's accurate?
Well, that's pretty accurate unless it has something to do with the police doing the shooting.
Yeah.
And then, like, if just like the 7-year-old girl got shot by 2 thugs, one was 18, and some say, well, he lived in a broken down home. So my question, my thing is, so they had 18 years to straighten him out, but now nobody's not going to say nothing. Black Lives Matter is not going to say nothing about it. I mean, the only thing they worried about is how many more homes they could purchase for $1 million out in California somewhere. So I'm more outspoken for the children than I am than what Black Lives Matter is saying on that, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And I appreciate your perspective. Before we move, what happened with Giuliani? Because I saw it in passing, but why did they say they raided him?
Because they said the FBI raided, I think it has to do with the president to see about the computer, about the Ukraine incident from last year, because when they trying to pin it on Hunter Biden, they trying to sweep it under the rug. But since now he's not in office, now they trying to get something on Giuliani and former President Trump.
It's crazy. And, you know, yesterday someone was put on a no-fly list. I talked about it, where that 6th event was like a setup in the sense of now they're trying to say everybody there's a terrorist. They're investigating everyone who's there. And then it's like a 6 degrees of separation. So it's like, if everybody that is a Republican probably knew somebody that was outside there, because there were 100,000 people. So they're using that and branching out, which is why, you know, a lot of activists on both parties were warning for decades about the Patriot Act. Because when September 11th happened, they used the Patriot Act, said we have to go after terrorists. but it was so broadly spoken that you could tell eventually they're going to call American citizens terrorists, and that's what they're doing now. So I think they're using
That's what they're doing
that
right
type of
now.
stuff to just go after everybody. It's crazy. But I want to give you one last message to the world. I appreciate you, and I'd love to try the chicken sometime, but I won't intrude on your dinner.
Okay. I'll send you a recipe on how to do it.
Okay, that sounds good.
Well, my final thoughts is everybody seek the truth in your own eyes instead of what the media portrayed in their own narrative. I would tell everybody, do not support Black Lives Matter, because Black Lives don't matter for us. It matter for them. Let's I encourage, especially African Americans, get more involved with politics, because the more you get involved, the more you'll seek the truth out of what they saying to you. And most importantly, register to vote, because 2022, the House and the Senate are up for grab. So be sure you vote, and then let's bring Trump back into office.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You all have a good one.
Take care.
You too.
Okay, I'll figure it out. I found out how to do it now. Okay, we're going to move on. We're going to bring more people in. And I'm someone in the middle of 2 interviews. You know, I moved from an area that was liberal to an area that was conservative, both in a blue state. But you really see, like, even roads are paved. Like, I feel like liberals have everybody under this spell where they take more tax money, they take more freedom, 2 masks, can't open your business. If you try to run your gym, they shut off your power and water. It's becoming like really bad. I don't know if people think it's not because they like Fauci or they watch MSNBC, but like, it's pretty bad. It's not like a conversation over bathrooms. You know, like, where should they use the bathroom? That's like 10 years ago, liberal. Now it's like, should you be allowed to breathe air and keep your business afloat before the federal government bankrupts you and turns off your power? It's pretty bad. So, I mean, you know, as much as I'm, you know, upset with the Republicans on a national and local level, to me, it's like a no-brainer. You go to these conservative areas, things are open, people are happier, it's safer, it's cleaner. People seem to care about their communities more. On average, it's not always real. But, and I lived in Los Angeles for 7 years, and you have all these activists, and they care about everything else except for their own community. So I think what Amir and a lot of people said earlier, you know, focus on yourself, because if you're out trying to save the world, but you can't even save your own neighborhood and your community, you know, you just become a hypocrite. And in general, like, no one wants to live there. So, you know, as disassociated I get with both parties, to me, it's a no-brainer. Which one is keeping this country afloat? If the entire country was Democrat and there were no Republican leadership like Ron DeSantis, who's opening, having events, we would be like Canada. We would be like, you know, the UK, where people don't even realize they're still in lockdown. They're being treated like literal abused show animals. Like, you can't even fly into the country without getting quarantined in a government facility, and then they make you pay for it. Stay at a hotel and you have to pay for it. Crazy stuff, guys, that's going on. Hopefully, Andrew's going to come in from Canada. I don't know if he's here yet, but when he's done, I'm definitely going to bring him in. Let me see if he's here, because I told him I wanted to tell his message about Canada. I don't think he is, but let me see. Erica Wilk, we're going to bring you in. We got like 20 people. We'll see. I'm just picking at random. Erica, you're going to be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hopefully. And if it works. Hey.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm Erica.
What's your message for the world? It could be anything.
I think, like, I was really frustrated. So yesterday I actually watched your video about Nick Fuentes, and I did not know who he was until you had mentioned his name. And I actually went and watched one of his videos, and it was him explaining how he was on the no-fly list and everything. And for the first time, like, I've been disappointed, but like, for the first time I was like, this is real. Like, this is really happening. The guy, he didn't commit any crimes. He doesn't have, like, I don't know. He didn't get a notice or anything. Like, how many more people is that going to happen to? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I guess, yeah. And it's like, and he said too, like, people won't even say his name, you know, like Tucker Carlson, nobody will say his name, you know, but you did. So
yeah, well, he's been like enemy number one from a lot of these conservative groups, because he came on my radar like a year ago there were a lot of these events at Turning Point USA where they would have the audience ask questions, kind of like I do. They bring people up and they ask questions. So a lot of his supporters, he told them to go to these events, and they have different beliefs than Charlie Kirk. So he told his audience, go there, ask them questions about the speech laws, ask them questions about immigration. He was asking them tough questions that you don't see at these events. And I felt like instead of answering them, whether they agreed or disagreed, they shut it down. They shut down their Q&A. They called him a racist. They called him an anti-Semite. They called him a homophobe. And I'm somebody who does news videos. Like, people make fun of me all the time. That's not how you debate, like regardless of how offensive the question is, you have to be able to answer tough questions about immigration or whatever. So I saw what the right wing was doing, and I was like, wow, it's not only that they don't agree with him, not a big deal. They're like trying to destroy him. And they've done that for years. Even let's say Alex Jones, I talked about it on the stream. Say what you want about him. He helped Trump win. He had 1 billion views. When his stuff got taken off of social media, the Republicans had the House, the Senate, the presidency. They could have done something more than they could have recently about free speech, because once one person loses it, that's the First Amendment. And they sat on their hands for a couple of years. So, now Giuliani, the next day, as Nick Fuentes is on the no-fly list, you have Rudy Giuliani, one of the most prominent Republicans, getting raided for what? I'm not sure. But yes, it's a very creepy, slippery slope. And, I'm glad that, well, hopefully you don't stress out too much about it, but I'm glad that you see it.
Yeah, and I guess my message would just be like, if we don't speak out now, like I messaged my representative. I'm in Virginia. She's Elaine Luria. She's a Democrat, but she has this whole, like, she was a veteran, you know what I mean? And she uses that, but it's like, I send her an email and I'm like, look, we see what DeSantis is doing in Florida. We really need something in Virginia to protect us from big tech. I'm currently 30-day ban off Facebook, and it's just like, we need something now. Like, can you please, like, be loud about it, speak up about it, because we need it. And if he's doing it, like, you can speak up about it. And I got some kind of like Autobot response, it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing would be just like, I know it's hard because you can get censored and you can get banned for just saying the truth, but try your hardest to speak out while you can, because at some point I really do feel like this right now, what you're doing, you're not going to be able to do it anymore. I mean, I truly feel like that.
Yeah, I mean, even this year, I wasn't put on a no-fly list, but they definitely have tried to, I would say, intimidate me in a few ways. I got a call. I'm not going to name names, but like the media and certain high-profile people have been like saying he's a conspiracy theorist. Like, they're trying to close the walls in for sure. I'm not going to let it scare me, but it's definitely concerning because, yeah, I mean, that's why, with my streams, I'm sure you've seen, but I try to be optimistic and nice, but I think a lot of people, they don't realize that this is never going to end. Like I watched Fauci this morning. I woke up and I saw a video and they said, when can kids stop wearing masks? It was Savannah Guthrie. And he said, he didn't even really answer the question. He was like, well, first we need to get all kids vaccinated, and then it's like they're admitting publicly, like, even when you do everything that we told you to do after we treated you like crap for a year and took your money with taxes, I don't know, we'll decide later. It's like people definitely need to realize that the walls are closing in, and this game of like, let's just sit it out and wait. I agree. If I could just sit it out and wait, I would tell people to do that. But I truly think what you think is like, it's not even gonna be possible anymore. Like, I don't have an option of like, oh, I'm gonna play it safe. There is really no safe route because of what they're doing to everybody. So I agree.
And you're the one person that is honest. Like, yeah, you were with Trump when he was doing the right thing, and then when he wasn't, you weren't anymore. And people say that you're flopping, flip-flopping, he's flip-flopping. Like, and it's nice that there's someone that sees it the way that, a lot of us do see it. And I appreciate you. Big fan. So
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on, and hopefully everything goes well. Hope you have a good year. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, Erica. All right. We're going to bring some people in. Someone said we need peaceful protests and sit-ins. And also just, I think if people just said no, that's because I try to start small. Some people say, what can you do? I don't want to tell people to start a social media, do this, do that. Listen, everybody has their own flow. I don't want to force people to do anything. But if you can, like, whatever it is, job, work, restaurant, if you can take one small step and just say no to something, like, for me, the simplest thing I could think of is like, if I go to a restaurant, I will not eat if they try to put a mask on me for 5 seconds. It's embarrassing. It's demoralizing. And to be quite frank, it doesn't make any sense at all when I could just walk to the table like 5 steps away. So if you could just say no and not comply in a small way, I think that will go the distance. And I saw Alex Berenson tweet today, and I think it's true. We're very fortunate in America to have places like Florida, regardless of, things that I think DeSantis maybe could have done. He's really crushing it because he's having full events with the UFC. He's open for the most part. I mean, it's not completely open, but if we didn't have Florida to show everybody that there's a big state that's not South Dakota, no offense, but there's more people who travel to Florida, it's bigger. If we didn't have that to just destroy their narrative, they keep hating DeSantis, but at the core of it, they know that people from California are leaving to Texas and Florida. We're blessed to be in the United States of America. Canada, completely controlled. You have some conservative parts, but UK, New Zealand, you get what I'm saying? We're very fortunate. So the more people who do something, you really free it up for everybody else. That DeSantis is a bigger scale, but on a smaller scale too. If you take a little step wherever it is, even if it's small, obviously peaceful, but I think it'll go way further than people think. I'm going to bring in Andrew real quick. Andrew works for Rebel News, and he's going to tell me about Canada because I'm not fully aware. So that's who's coming in right now in like 5 seconds. And thank you, Andrew, for the interview. That was great. I think you did a good job, and I think you're doing a great job. He should be in any second. What's going on, Andrew?
Hey, man, how are you?
Fantastic. The question is, what's your message for the world? And definitely we want to know what's going on in Canada now, because we're here in the States, we're a little bit unsure.
Oh, what's going on in Canada is great in sarcastic sense. We're still in lockdown here in Ontario and Quebec. Quebec, the French-speaking province, still has a curfew. They just were blessed enough to lift it to raise it to 9:30 p.m. It was at 8 o'clock. It's gone back and forth. So they've had a curfew for, I think, 3 months now. What they've done in Ontario is they've stopped people from traveling province to province, state to state. So they've set up provincial police, state police at the border. So if you're not a resident of our province of Ontario, you can't come in. The police stop you. I watched a video of it today. They stop you at the border. They ask you what your reason is. And if they think that you don't have a valid reason for entering the province, they can turn you away. So a bunch of people that were coming in a convoy from the west, they got turned away at the border, I think, yesterday, because they don't have a permanent residence in our province. So it's at that level right now where they can still they can stop you. It's basically like carding people, like stop and frisk without the frisking. They can ask you where you're from, where you're going, and why you're doing it, and ask for your ID and your address. Now, a bunch of all of the police in Ontario have agreed that they wouldn't do this, except for the provincial, the state police. However, it's still happening, and people are still being ticketed at protests. And on Saturday, there's a big protest in a place east of Toronto where Rebel News was covering, and 2 elected officials were ticketed. So there is a standoff between a police chief and an elected official, a member of parliament, and neither of them would budge. It was this weird PR thing where the cop said that we're not going to leave until you guys leave. So it was a really childish standoff, I thought, and he wasn't going to leave, the MPP, a member of provincial parliament. So they ticketed him. Their fine of, I believe, $880, which is the tickets that they're giving out to people all across the country. Specifically in our province, that's the price they've given. It's higher or lower in some places. And those are the tickets they're giving people. And along with that, there's still the quarantine tickets that you have to abide by. If you don't go to a hotel, they can fine you. And if people don't know what that is, we've covered a lot on rebelnews.com where we go. We actually had somebody go into one of the quarantine hotels. So basically, you come home from anywhere around the world, and even if you have a positive test from somewhere else, they're not accepting that. They test you. They make you pay to go to a hotel. So it's at your own expense, and wait for your test results. If the test takes 1 day, takes 2 days, takes 3 days, it doesn't matter. You still have to pay for all 3 days. So it's like an all-inclusive Cancun package. So that stuff is all still going on. Even though a lot of people have forgotten about it, the COVID jails, as they call them, are still going on. The curfew and the lockdowns are still going on. In my province, you're still not supposed to leave your house unless it's for a government-approved reason. It's like how Australia did it, but not quite as harsh.
It's crazy. What's it like on the ground? Like, are people starting to realize that this is a little weird, or is the dominant narrative in Canada like, no, this makes total sense?
The protests are getting bigger and bigger. I think people are really sick of it. It's the problem that I have with it is that the narrative has forgotten the stuff like the businesses being shut down and the COVID forced hotels. People have sort of forgotten that. The Conservative Party here has become, and we talked about this on my show, how the Conservative and the Republicans have sort of like lost anything that they stand for. All they talk about is vaccine distribution. So it's hard to get people to hear the truth, frankly, about a lot of these subjects when all the mainstream media is pushing is vaccines and why going outside is dangerous, why school is dangerous. Schools got recently shut down here again. They were open for like less than a month. The teachers, they need a break. And in my opinion, it's all about giving these people money. The teachers union, the hospitals unions, they keep pushing the narrative that the hospitals are overrun. Hasn't happened once. They keep giving the money to open. There's 2 field hospitals that are opening. One's been around for a month. They just opened it because the hospitals might become overflowing. Hasn't happened. They predicted for a year that it was going to happen. Still hasn't happened. And yeah, we've got videos about that on our Rumble page, which is where we want people to go to now because of YouTube censorship and all this.
Do you guys listen to our overlords of, not the real Lord, but the overlords of Fauci and the CDC? Because here it seems like those are the 2 people who really run the show. And my question to, people is like, what are the metrics? Like, okay, I don't agree, but okay, you want all these people to get this product and then can you go? It seems like they have no date, no metrics, no data that explains like, this is what we're going for. At first they did the hospitalization things like you said, and then at a certain point they just stopped telling people like what their theory was, and people just go along with this. So that my 2 questions are like, who's running the show? Like, who's the main person really making these decisions? And do they even pretend to have like a date, a metric, or like a scientific point to stop treating people like this, or not?
No, each province state has a head medical team and a head doctor. That's who they're pointing to. Whenever they have a press conference, they have the premier, the governor come on, and then when there's a question about health or anything to do with the shutdowns, they say, let me pass it off to the chief medical officer. And that's the person who really makes the decision. So every person in each province knows the name of their chief medical officer because they're the ones supporting the shutdown. They have a board of nameless people, of unelected people that they talk about, and those are the people that make the predictions. The data predictions that we're going to have 50,000 cases a day, we're going to have 30,000 cases a day. At some point, our province is 10 million people. At some point, you're going to run out of people to have cases, which is why it hasn't come true once. So those are the people that are making the decisions. Now, the head doctor of the country, Theresa Tam, who sits on a board for the WHO, you can say that she gives the lead directives, but her influence has sort of been off-put to these provincial doctors. In my opinion, it's because they want these. Most of our provinces are run by conservative governments. 7 out of 10 of them, I believe. And I think they want them to fail. I think they want people to see that the conservative leaders are failing them in whether it's lack of vaccination or the other political side, the shutdowns. So they're sort of just letting them fail on their own. And to what was your second question again?
Like, do they have a metric? And I guess not to add,
right.
But like, if they're taking these measures of like, okay, they're everybody flying in, they're testing, they're stopping people. Like, is this working? Like, at a certain point, wouldn't the theory be like this would lower the cases drastically? And like, is there an end date to this since they're doing such crazy stuff? Like, we're doing this and then it's going to lead to this, or is it just like we're doing this and shut up?
No, every time they come on TV here in Toronto and they say nothing's off the table. So they only ever talk about the stuff that they could do if things don't go better. There is no marker for case numbers. There is no marker for deaths. There is no marker for vaccines. In fact, the federal government just got caught lying about their vaccine distribution. Pfizer said that there was no reason why they shouldn't be distributing more vaccines, the second doses. Not that I care about that personally, but that's what they're saying. So they don't give any data at all. They gave up on that, after 2 weeks to flatten the curve and the case numbers. They rarely cite how many case numbers there are on that day. They just say we keep going up and up. don't present any charts or graphs, of course, as they would. I think Trump's team was the only person to actually present graphs or charts of anything, frankly.
Yeah.
But no metric, no promise of the end date. They've said things like hopefully the end of summer, in the fall, of course. But you know when that happens, it's just gonna be, well, it's flu season again, you guys.
Yeah.
Even though the flu is eliminated. I mean, the city of Toronto has already canceled everything. They canceled in, I think, February, any events going through the summer. So that should say quite a bit.
And I guess any like closing statement / like what do you think the solution is there, and how, you know, what do you think you could do? Because here it's a different beast. Like we just had Florida, you know, do a UFC full event with no mask, which was crazy. So it's a different dynamic here, where there it seems like they have almost total control over the provinces. I'm going to repeat that for people who just came in, or just to say it again, like, I mean, this is out of like a sci-fi movie where you can't travel to another province without them pulling you over. And there is no end date, or it's a maybe in 5 months, you know, it's crazy stuff. But yeah, like how do we beat this? And any last words?
I mean, obviously, I can't tell people what to do. It's gotten to the point where people are going to these protests, but I don't think they're getting. I mean, how do you shut down your own business for a year and let your family go bankrupt and not do anything? I think it starts with the businesses opening up. I think it must continue with people not condemning anybody for going out and doing these things. You see comments that are like, oh, this is the reason why it keeps extending, and this is the reason why we can't open up. People actually need to start looking at these statistics for themselves about masks, about mask studies, how masks haven't been shown to actually curb the spread of anything like the flu virus or anything like that. So I think people just need to continuously research these topics that are being pushed in the mainstream media, because that's what seems to happen, whether it's shootings or lockdowns or masks, like I mentioned. The mainstream narrative is never what it actually is in reality, and they feed off of that. I mean, you see CNN on Project Veritas saying we're going to move on to climate change next. So unless people read up about that, then they're going to be stuck, you know, having a climate lockdown every 6 months, which I think is the plan, or 2 years or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But as for, if you guys want to check us out, rebelnews.com. We're on the fringe of getting banned off YouTube, so we want you to sign up with your email there. Go sign up to us on Rumble, and you guys can follow me here because I post a whole bunch of clips, like my interview with you, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and let people know where they can follow you. And I guess one more follow-up question is, like, in America, there's a lot of businesses, even like UFC, we have some big players that are going against what the media wants and what maybe the country wants, and they're doing it pretty successful, I would say. Even the gyms, like, it seems like the police state cracks down harder in Canada on businesses than it even does even in California, which is shocking. Like, I know California business owners open fines, but nothing too big. Like, are there any successful businesses and churches or anything that have said no repeatedly and stayed open?
There's one church in Calgary, Alberta, who said no repeatedly, and their pastor has gone to jail for 30 days for it. So the religious liberty is gone in this country.
Wow.
As for businesses, they've been cracked down. Funny you mentioned MMA and stuff. I just did an interview with Faraz Sahabi. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. TriStar Gym in Montreal. They trained George St. Pierre. He's been visited 16 times by Montreal police. The last time they knocked on his door with nightsticks, they put tape over his peepholes. They were sliding stuff under his door, really just messing with him. The Montreal police is the worst in the country. So there are a few places that have been opened. Yes, you can see them on our website, frankly.
Cool.
But en masse, no. The people of Toronto and Canada's major cities, no, there's been no inkling of all that, of people opening en masse. And as for where you can find my stuff, here on Instagram, Andrew Does, DOES, and then Andrew Says TV on Twitter, and then, of course, rebelnews.com is where you can find my show.
Cool. Thank you, Andrew. I might make a clip just out of this to explain the Canada stuff, because I think it hits home, and in America, you just don't see that many people talking about it. We'll chat too in a few weeks, see where we're at.
No, I appreciate it, man. Always love talking to you.
Yeah.
Love being the Canadian correspondent.
It's a pleasure. God bless you and Rebel News. Thank you guys for carrying the torch in Canada.
You too, man. See ya.
All right. And I'm going to bring in, I think, Abraham. It seems like you're in Canada too. You've been commenting. I'm going to try to bring you in. Let me see. Abraham Nathan. if you're, it sounds like you're in Canada, we'll get some more perspective while we're on the topic. Should be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yes,
What's
sir.
going on? How are
What's
you?
up, man? I'm from Canada as well, man.
I saw your comments. I saw you saying some stuff, so I figured you could add on it and give some insight. How are you? And yeah, what can you add to what he was saying?
I'm good, man. So over here in Canada, Andrew said that the protests are getting slightly bigger, but say if it was 0.01% of the population coming to this protest, now it's like 0.02. So it's not that many people waking up. Like, Canada is really, really bad, man. So many sheep here, and they're just not willing to accept them, man. Like, people don't realize that people like me, I have nothing to gain from me telling you guys this. Like, I have everything to lose. I can lose my job. There's a lot of factors, but the news, they make money. Like, I'm not sure if you know, like, a lot of the ad revenue from these news agencies is from pharmaceutical companies.
Mm-hmm.
So people need to just start waking up. I mean, it might have to get really, really bad for people to start waking up. So it might be just a waiting game, but the people who are on the fence, who are on the edge, need to just open their business, need to take off their fucking mask, need to go back to living life like normal. Because for someone like me, it's taken a lot of toll on my mental health, and I can control myself. There's a lot of other people who can't, right? So there's more bad things happening to the because of the lockdown than there is because of COVID, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, totally. And it's like an opinion they tell you not to even say, where mentally, physically, psychologically, this is so bad in so many different ways. I try to bring it up because, you know, I'm sure in Canada, a lot of the conservatives are probably pretty phony too. They're just selling the pharmacy products. But it's
Exactly.
like, can nobody say that? Like, even say just physically, closing gyms, you think that doesn't have a negative impact on someone's physical health? You know, stopping people from traveling and like communicating and seeing people's face. Of course, that has a message on mental and psychological health. And like you said, of course, like we already have problems in America. We have a huge over prescription problem where people are addicted to pills, opioids. Like, that's very well known. So stuff like that increases. People who had a job, a 9 to 5, and they lose that, and now it's just them and their drugs. Or, you know, it's like it's causing all sorts of problems. And they don't even, first of all, want you to say that. I've been able to say it, and I try to say it succinctly, so they let me do it. But where are the politicians? Where are these leaders in Canada or America where they always play this game of like, we'll get everybody the vaccine and we can go back to normal? Like, what about everybody that's suffering? And I feel bad for you and everyone else, especially in Canada, where like that's some crazy stuff. Like I was just driving. I drove to Arizona and I went to see the Grand Canyon. Some parts were a little annoying with the mask, but overall, you know, I didn't get stopped, luckily,
Right.
you know, but like so what's going on in Canada is just crazy. And it's shocking that people don't understand. Like, I'm gonna let you speak in a sec. Like, how do they not realize at this point it's gonna get worse, or else, like, I guess if they don't get it now, they'll have to get it soon. I think you're loading real quick, but hold on one second. It says loading. Hold on one second. I think your connection is a little choppy. Hold on one sec. I think you're chopping a little. Let me see. Yeah. The connection's off. I'll bring you back in. I apologize. Come back in and get the connection better, and I'll get you in. I feel bad now. I was talking, and then the connection went out. But we'll bring you right back in next. Abraham, just come in and out, and then you'll be the next one on. Let's see. SP, the original. I'm going to bring you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we'll talk about what's your message to the world. Let's see. And then we'll bring back in Abraham if hopefully it wasn't my connection. We'll see. SP, the original. I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. If it doesn't load, I'm going to have to just hit cancel. Yeah, sorry. It didn't load, unfortunately. All right, Abraham, we're going to give it one more shot because I really wanted to hear what you said. So bring you back in 5. Someone said I lost my job as a daycare teacher because I wouldn't wear a muzzle, nor do I make students wear them. Yeah.
Hey,
so
all
right, you're back. All right,
We're
I'll let
back.
you go.
Yeah, I don't know, where did we stop off at? Oh yeah, you were talking about politicians. For me, like, we need to let all that go. Like, a lot of these guys, like, it's been proven, like, there's this newspaper over here that we have called Epoch Times. They have documents of many Canadian politicians who are being paid under the table by China. So we can't trust in these guys anymore. We need to be our own leaders and take action for ourselves. Like, there's a lot of people who are talking on social media, but now it's time to take action, especially in this country, because once that vaccine passport is implemented and it's fully rolled out, we're kind of over. It's finished over here. Next is going to be the social credit score, and it's going to be the fucking matrix, man. So.
Yeah. No, you nailed it. And I know Chris Sky up in Canada, I think they took down his Insta, but the thing that really stuck out to me the most that he said, and it really clicked, like a lot of people think it, but he put it succinctly, was everyone complies thinking it's going to end the pandemic. Well, I'm just doing it. But really, it's like as soon as you comply, they go to the next step. And it's not like a theory that they're doing it. They don't even tell you, like, we're going to wear masks for 3 months and then you're going to be free. They're just like, maybe fall. Like, it's so clear that they're just dragging us along. Once everyone gets vaccinated, both parties and even the Republicans, all of them, get it. I wouldn't mind, because I don't really care what people do, but I know once enough people get it, then they're going to roll that out. And now you're going to have over half the population say, well, I don't really care if they do that because I have it. But it's like, not just about that. Now you have a health passport where, you know, you're being treated like a cattle based off of if you're getting a product, which, by the way, I learned recently, the Moderna one has part ownership from the NIH, which is, you know, Fauci's agency. It's like they literally own it. And, of course, like you said, politicians and media are two of the biggest, you know, I guess, receivers of, you know, pharmacy lobbying money. That's not my theory. Like, we've known this for decades, that the pharmacy industry lobbies, you know, politicians, and they pay media ads. So it's very bizarre to see everyone not realize this, but continue.
Yeah, man. So I was in a convenience store yesterday, and I'm not going to wear a mask. And there's another guy who came in who had a shirt over his mouth, and he looked at me and his eyes just wide open. And I was like, bro, you don't need that shit. He's like, yeah, you're right. And he like, and like people, there are a lot of people who are just not aware, who are just following the rules, and they think everything's going to go back to normal. And there's a lot of people who forgot what normal is. Literally, they forgot what a smile is. They forgot what hugging, giving someone a handshake, you know, all this shit, doing this and doing that. That's so pathetic, man. Like, I'm over the shit, man. Like, why can we not like go back to normal? And this is all conditioning. They purposefully made it this long so people get used to this type of lifestyle and start accepting it, and they can take even more and more of your rights away.
And I wanna ask you real quick, without being too specific, but like, are there things that you are allowed to do, like just for your health and everyone else? Like, do they have parks and stuff open, or are they going psycho over that stuff too?
So I know recently, because they've extended this lockdown, they've been going to parks, taking off the basketball rims, putting signs saying that the park is closed. I've been going to a couple parks, taking those signs off, and I see kids playing there. But like, they're not enforcing it too hard where there's cops telling kids to stop playing, but there are tape around the park and there's signs. It's really bad, man. And like, people don't realize this is so bad for your immune system and your overall health, you know, not being able to go outside, getting sunshine. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if you saw it. There was one of our medical officers in Ontario said that someone questioned her about vitamin D and the importance of it, and she said that's fake news. Like, really? That's what's.
Well, they're trying to, you know, they're trying to overstate it. They love to find the person who says so much, where they're like, will cure everything. And they're like, oh, they said bleach will cure that. And it's like, first of all, that's not what he said, but also, like, that's ridiculous. But the point people are trying to get to is, like, obviously physical health, working out, and vitamins. Like, we've known for centuries that is helpful. Can it cure everything ever? Yeah, I don't know about that, but if you're fit and you're on vitamins and you're eating healthy, are you way less likely to get sick than if you're massively overweight and you're depleted of vitamins? Of course. Of course. You know, they like to frame that out of context and be like, that's fake. It's not fake news. It's like, it's basic health of, like, you know, closing down gyms. That makes me sick, is when they put like the basketball hoop and take it down. Like, that's communist stuff. Like, you guys can't play anymore. Like, what are we if we can't even shoot a basketball hoop? It's sick.
And it's bringing people down to another level. So all these people who haven't played sports in a while, their level of athleticism it decreases. Like, as society, we're supposed to progress and get better, but now we're going backwards, and people just don't get it, man.
And I like that you said that because, like, when you're in your teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, first of all, that's huge. Like, exercise is important. No matter how old you are, you're getting worse. When you're 60, 70, 80, and I feel like I haven't heard many people say this, especially in news media, your body is, like, way harder to get back to normal. So if you're quarantining your grandma for a year because you think you're helping her, you're really killing her. Like, this is hurting the elderly the most because I could take a few months off. It's going to hurt me, but not as much as an 80-year-old. So it's the abuse. It's an abusive relationship. It's an abusive lockdown. And I wish instead of defending themselves against the media narrative, people would flip it and just be like, no, this is abusive. Like, you're not saving me. You're hurting me, and you need to stop.
100%. And we can't, like, I get a lot of our, like, adults that we've lived a pretty good life. We've experienced a lot of things, but what about the kids, man? People completely forgot. Now they're turning into these zombies. And, like, I heard it from another guy. So he was playing soccer in the park, and the ball rolled over to, like, these two kids. Usually kids would kick the ball back, right? They saw the ball and they ran away. They left it. Like, so, like, this is all brainwashing, mind control to these kids. They're being affected real bad. And these are the kids who are going to turn into, like, super Karens when they grow up, you know?
Yeah. They're going to be psychotic adults. Yeah, unless someone helps them.
Exactly, man.
What's your last message? I want to say, stay strong, stay blessed, and hit me up if you ever need help. I can't really do that much as far as another country, but stay strong and stay blessed, because I know there's a lot of people. Man.
And I appreciate everything that you do, because you're neutral. Even though you side slightly to the Republican side, I do understand, because their values make more sense, you know. But my last words would be, if you're on the edge, if you know all this is bullshit, just stop complying, you know. And there's one more thing I want to put: be grateful of God. You know, that's something I forgot. In the last few days, I was pretty down on myself because of everything that's going on, but I forgot. Like, during those times, I wasn't grateful, or I wasn't, showing my blessings to the Most High, and I appreciate him so much. And if we all had that attitude, 100% we can get out of this, and he will bless us.
I love that. And, in many ways, obviously I'm disgusted by what's going on, but I do like to count my blessings and see certain things where, I took for granted. And in general, I was able to, work harder and then overcome it. So I love that finish. Thank you so much. Great guest. We'll have this on YouTube and Facebook soon, and just hit me up whenever.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.
Got you.
Take care.
You too. All right. Next, I saw Carpe Donktum in here. I'd love to grab him on. Carpe, if you send an ad, I'll let you in. I don't know if you're here or not, but let me look through. Chelsea Rar, I know. Yeah, I don't see you, but if you add yourself, you could be the next guest. Chelsea, I know you've been in here a while, saying you wanted to talk about, foster homes. I'm trying to bring you in. I think last time the connection didn't work, but we're trying again in 5 seconds. Yeah, I got you, Chelsea. Hey, how are you? You made it.
I'm good. How are you? Finally.
Fantastic. Yeah, the connection won't work, but I would love to. What's your message for the world? And I know you said you had something to say about foster kids.
Okay. Yes. So we are foster parents to. We have 3 biological children, girls, and then 2 foster care babies. We started in the foster care system in September, and we never really knew much about it, so we kind of learned as we went along. Well, we went to court last week. We were supposed to go to court in October. We finally went to court last week for one of ours. It took that long, and I guess she's the manager of our area on the foster care, all the caseworkers. She came over and she was telling us that there's literally 58 children living in the CPS office because they have nowhere to place them. And we're talking kids from 3 years old and up. They took on 600% more children when this all started. So you've got children, of course, our kids are back in school now, so it's a little bit better, but they were taking kids out of homes right and left, of course, when this first started. And it's gotten worse and worse and worse. And
why is
they
that?
have nowhere to place them.
Yep.
They literally eat breakfast at school, lunch at school, and then they have a TV dinner for dinner at the CPS office, and they're sleeping on cots. And so it's just gotten to the point where it is so overwhelming. It's like they're babysitting all these kids in the evenings and afternoons, and of course they're fighting. I was just shocked at the amount of kids that we have in the foster care system at this point.
I have a question. Like, where are they taking them from? Why is there an increase, and why is no media covering it? Would you say?
Yeah, hello. Not covered.
Hold on, it's freezing a little.
You know, the reason it's got up is because, well, at first what they were saying was all these kids are at home and being abused, being neglected. Our caseworker was talking about a family that they literally took children away because they found them in cages, like actual dog cages. It was a family of 5 children, and parents that have to work and are neglecting their children, and then you have people that just neglect their children. And the problem is with the court system, the courts, we're not seeing we're seeing court dates pushed out and pushed out and pushed out. And so they just aren't, you can't place them without a judge's authorization, nor take them away. And so it's like a catch-22, but it's a huge system of, I mean, my thing is, what's going to happen to these kids down the road when they age out? They literally, when they age out at 17, they have, you know, most of them have spent their life in and out of foster care homes. And then you've got these kids. She said that there's quite a few in juvenile detention right now because of actually beating up CPS caseworkers. So, you know, they're just starting out life at a horrible position to begin with, you know, and they're going to probably end up in jail later on in life because of where they started.
And I just want to summarize real quick just to make sure I get it. Like, the lockdown, you can clearly see that more kids are getting abused because of it, which I would say is obvious, and I've seen very little media talk about. And then also it's screwing up the court system because, like, even like price of lumber is going up, price of food's going up. You can't just stop society, you know, whether it's production or whether it's a court system. So now you also have these court cases that are all held up because they're just, what are they doing, Zoom calls every couple months or, you know, stuff like that? Yeah.
Exactly. And they're having to leave kids in situations where they shouldn't be left in because they have nowhere to place them. And then they're ending up with family, a lot of kinship. There's a lot of kinship placements that are happening right now where grandparents are raising and taking care of grandkids. And, you know, that's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's awesome if they can, but it's not ideal. And then on the other hand of it, the parents that their kids are taken away, they're not being able to properly get the training they need to get their kids back. So it's almost like a lose-lose. You've got, I mean, and the likelihood of a normal, like pre-pandemic, getting your children back, you know, was doable. It's not doable anymore because of, you know, it's all Zoom online classes or whatever, and they're not getting the one-on-one care and being able to, like, you have to go into a facility here in Texas, like, say you got them taken away for drugs, then you have to go into a facility and to where somebody else can watch you live your life for a few months with the kids and see how you do. And that's not being able to take place post-pandemic. It's just a really bad situation.
I want to thank you for coming on. I appreciate it. I'm glad we got to connect. And I just want to give you a final chance, a message of like, what can we do to make it better? What can people do to make this better? And what do they not know?
Well, just love people, you know, especially children. You never know what they're going through. A child may look like everything is fine at home, and if you have that chance to mentor a child, you know, if you see a child at the park and they're playing alone or what, I mean, I'm not saying be creepy, but, you know, we have chances to mentor these kids that desperately need it, you know, and just to show love to one another. You know, I think that we've lost that emotional connection to other people by hiding behind masks. You know, we don't wear them personally, we never have, and we're seeing more and more people like walk through Walmart without them on here in East Texas, and I'm so thankful. But yeah, just, you know, show love and encouragement to each other and to these kids, because it's desperately needed.
Thank you so much. I'm glad we got to connect, and thank you for your persistence, for the kids, for the message. And I saw you the last couple times, and the connection was bad, but we made it happen.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Have a good one. All right. We'll bring. Thank you. I'm just going to say thank you to everybody real quick on here who makes this all possible. Yoshi Masuda, thank you. Sada, Crypto Farmer, Shelly Boogie, very, very lovely. Amir, Heather, Hello Dalman, Model Citizen, Lil Queenie, Brooke, Kenny Shulin, For Johnny, Appleweed 2.0, Ryan James, Joe Marie, Jason Baraccio, Joseph CS, Roly Poly Pudding. I'll do the rest later. I just want to say thank you to people who are supporting this. And let me see who we got here. Aurelia, I tried. I could try again, but I tried to bring you in earlier. It just didn't work. I'm gonna try to go through even more people, but I'll give you one more try. It's just, I think it's your connection or mine, probably yours, but I don't want to point the finger, but it could be. We'll bring you in, Aurelia, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, hopefully. And if it doesn't, within the next. Okay, there you are.
How are you? How's everybody? Hope everybody has a great day. Thanks for connecting with me.
Of course, yeah. What's your message to the world? That's the question.
All right, so I'm from Texas. I'm also a teacher. My message is more like a newsflash, and especially for people who are afraid of dying of COVID. Newsflash, we're all dying. Every single day, we're a day closer to death. And I feel like if we keep that present, this is going to allow us to really live days that are fulfilled. I'm that one friend in my group of friends who does crazy things, but it's just living life. And I feel like the simple things. I'm a teacher, like I said, so I'm blessed enough to really enjoy what I do. Although with the situation, it's very difficult and it's different, of course. It's taken a toll on my health. I don't sleep like I used to. I teach online kids and in-person children as well. But at the end of the day, I push myself to do things that I enjoy. Last night I was at the studio. I do music as well. But yeah, just letting everybody know that, life is very short. The last thing I want is for me to be an old lady dying and regretting the things that I didn't do. So yeah, just sending everybody lots of love. And yeah, I'm really excited about, she was talking about fostering. I actually started my licensing process in Texas as well. So God willing, this year I'll have a little kid. And also, like I said, I do crazy things. Like I moved to Dubai, which isn't crazy to me, but for other people, it was like, wait, what? You're going to the other side of the world. You've never been there. And I'm like, that's the whole point. So that's just my attitude in life. Do things, like learn things. I speak 4 languages. I mean, it's just because I'm curious, because life is short. And I just wish that everybody would have the same mentality and stop focusing on like material things. Like you're not taking that with you when you die. Just experience new things and just be that light, that people want. While we can't be here physically forever, I feel like we can linger by just the things that we do. Loving our kids, that's going to pass on to the next generation and so forth. So yeah.
Appreciate that. I love it. All right. Well, thank you for being here. And I love the energy. I love the mindset. And yeah, we got to do what we can while we're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming on.
All right. Awesome. Bye.
All right. Keep it moving. Short, sweet, and to the point. I agree. One of the worst things about what they're doing is, yes, I can't control what everyone else does, but even in politics and news, I don't know why people aren't pushing that message, like everyone's like, well, we're going to do this. I'm like, guys, this isn't healthy. We have to move. We have to travel. We have to be able to play at parks and stuff like this. we could have been saying this for a year. Now you finally see, I think, like Marjorie Taylor Greene and a few people, Tucker Carlson, talk about the kids at the mass. I'm glad they are, but I'm like, guys, this is like, we got to open up shop here. We get it though, you guys. Let me see. Who we got on here? Stargirl Raichu. I think you've been in here the whole time. You asked to come on. I got you. I like Pokemon too, so you hit me with the Raichu, the evolved form of Pikachu, if you guys aren't familiar. Yeah, you're on next. 3, 2, oh no. Am I live next? You were, but your thing fell out. I'm going to give you one more chance if it doesn't work. You got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should be on. If not, I'm going to have to keep it moving. Let's see if you pop up. Stargirl Raichu is, I think it's your connection. I'm going to have to hit cancel because usually they pop up by now. All right. Well, it's not there. I'm trying to get you on. It just doesn't work. Who else we got? Let's see. I'm just going to pick. All right. Brandy Lopez, 21. You're coming on. Someone said, can I please go on? Yep. Send me a message. I have like 20, so I'm just kind of picking at random. But, oh, Brandy Lopez declined. Okay. You don't even want to be here. Let's see who else we got. I tried to bring in SP the original. I could try again, but it didn't work last time. Maybe the connection's better. I'll try again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should be on in a second. SP the original. Yeah, I don't know. I guess the connection's not working. Hopefully it's not my phone. All right. Bring in someone else. Let's see. In the moment, I got you. You got some Arabic, I think, written at the bottom. I don't know if you're from an Arab country, but that would be interesting to hear what's going on there. Maybe you just have Arabic written or you're Arabic, but it caught my attention. In the moment, you should be on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see. I'm going to have to keep it moving. I don't know. It's like roulette. I'm trying to make it work. I'll bring in Huey Media. I feel like your internet's going to be on. You've been in before, but I want to bring you on again. Thanks for always showing love too here, Huey. You should be on in 5, 4, 3.
Yo, man.
Right. How you doing? I thought there was their connection. I was like, I know he's got some good connection. So I tried to bring a few people on. Huey, what's your message to the world and how are you doing today?
I'm good. Appreciate you as always. So my message is just, it mainly is like, I mean, we're both on the same page with this whole pandemic going on, but at the end of the day, I think everything happens for a reason. And as shitty as this is for a lot of people, at the end of the day, like you need bad to appreciate the good. And if shit was just good all the time, it wouldn't be good, you know? So I just think like it makes things just like we're gonna appreciate it more, like just like the normal stuff, like smiling again, just just being outside and everything, and just you got to live, like I just think that's what, like a lot of us, I feel like before this we took shit for granted. I know I did. And if shit's good all the time, you might overlook it, but my thing is just you need some shit, some bad shit to happen to appreciate the good stuff. So
I agree.
Yeah, you you need adversity, and like just little stuff like going in the store and passing by people and just people that don't have face masks on, like that's going to be so different now, like in the future, because the garbage that's happening right now. And
yeah, I went to Arizona and I walked in the hotel because I was like, hopefully, because I'm not going to stay there if they make me wear a mask. Like, I'm that kind of hardcore. And I walk in and the whole staff has no mask on. And I was like, that was dope. I was like, it was cool to see an entire business running and none of them had masks on. I was like, not only are they not going to bother me, but it's nice to see their face.
Exactly. And like, sort of like the yin, so like get all like religious, but the yin and the yang, just like there's good in the bad and there's bad in the good. And just, I know it's shitty for a lot of people right now, but it will lead to good things. Like people are going to be more appreciative when just shit's back to normal, and it will be. Like, nothing's forever. And like I talk shit about this all the time, just like what's going on, but nothing's forever, good or bad. So take the bad, learn from it, and channel that for something good in the future.
Agreed. Thanks for being on. I'm going to have 3 more people, and then I'm going to take off. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Huey.
No problem. You have a good one. Appreciate you.
You too. Yep. All right. I'm going to have 3 more people on. Then we'll keep it moving. I think I saw Chad. Chad, you were a big hit last time, so we're going to bring you on, you know. And then I'm going to do 2 more, probably a random, and then it's over. Let me see if my phone is like overheating. Hopefully it doesn't die soon. Here he is. Chad was a smash hit last time, so we're gonna have a repeat guest for my last one. Chad, you should be on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's going on, An0maly? Thanks for
How are
getting me
you?
on again. I'm good.
Yes.
I'm walking out the gym right now.
Okay.
Hot day here in New Jersey. Thanks for getting me on again, brother. So
yeah, what's your message to the world?
I just wanted to say that it's nothing too original or anything, right? But it's like, you just can't be scared anymore. This stuff with Canada is no joke. We've been saying it for a while. It's no joke. And if you think it can't come here, it can come here. But the reason why it's happening in Europe and Canada first is because it can't happen here as easily. Because we have a constitution. We still have people that fight back against this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying people from Canada and Europe are weak. Whew, sorry, I'm out of breath. I'm getting jacked, too jacked for the gulag possibly. But it's like, you know, nothing against Canada or Europe, but you know, they don't have the history that we have, right? And I was in Target 2 days ago. For the first time since all this nonsense, I took my mask off. I didn't take it off. I lied. The ear loop on my mask snapped off, and I wasn't leaving, so I kept shopping. 3 people saw me and pointed me out and took their mask off. It was one of them was a father and his son. The father just pointed at me and said, "See, that's what I'm talking about." And they both took their masks off immediately. We fist bumped, had a quick conversation. 2 other people walking on their way to check out. So, yeah, screw this. Took their masks off. We all went and checked, complete strangers. We all went and we checked out without masks on. And nobody said anything. Some other guy in the line next to us is like, just looks over and he goes, "Yeah, mm-hmm." So it's like, you got to tap into the collective consciousness, right? Because this sentiment is out there. It's out there, and you have to tap into it. And today, just on a personal level, sorry, I know I'm rambling, but just on a personal level,
what are you here for?
You know, just for me individually today, I'm pissed today. And like, so my little my little cater to my message of, you know, speak up is don't stay pissed, right? And like, I'm being hypocritical because I'm pissed about it today because I've been reading some stuff, I've been paying attention, right? But I'm getting it out. You know, I'm doing overhead presses today, and I'm not gonna stay this way. And you know, when it comes to stuff like friends, family, loved ones, and stuff like that, my family, oh my gosh, this right here, the brain, washed completely, soap, everything, right? I asked one question about COVID. I asked one question about vaccines. I'm looked at like I am a psychopath. I might be a little psychopathic, but you know what I'm saying? I'm a former intelligence analyst in the military, right? So I have spent a number of years getting military level training in information and intelligence analysis, right? I got out around the time Trump got elected, and I started saying, I couldn't just part ways with all that experience. And I just kept on doing what I did, but to the world around me in a non-military fashion, right? Folks, it's here. We're in it.
We found QAnon. It's Q. We found it. No, I'm just kidding.
I got a holographic John Durham card for you. You got to charge me, bro.
You heard that?
Funniest thing ever.
I don't want to say that because then it's going to come up in the news. It's going to be NPR. They're like, claims they found Q in a basement on a live stream on Instagram. No, just
all right, fantastic. But that's my message, man. Speak up. Don't get too pissed. Don't get pissed, but don't stay pissed. Use that anger to speak up, and don't care what people think. Don't care what people say. I know it sucks. If you got family, it's going to affect it. It affects me. But like I said, I've been saying stuff to them, and they've been coming back at me, and I'm just sticking to my guns. I don't lose my cool. I don't get over emotional about it. I just stick to it. I just say the truth because I know there is a truth. There is a truth.
I love the story about the supermarket too. I think it's definitely inspirational to hear that that's happening more and more.
Right. It's a day
Thanks
bright
for being
now.
here, Chad.
Thank you, An0maly. I appreciate it. God bless, brother.
Course. God bless you.
Peace.
I'm going to do, I think, 2 more guests before we bring on the 2 more, which I was talking about earlier with Canada and Europe, too. There's a reason I talk about Trump and Republicans, although they're clearly better. And there's a reason I do it. I know a lot of people hate to, they're like, dude, An0maly, just shut up, focus on the Democrats, the media. No, we got this under control. In Canada and Europe, I mean, they don't have the history we have with the Constitution, patriots, like free market. It's never been that type of energy there. But there's something called the Overton window. And when the Overton window moves so far left, or wherever you want to say, authoritarian, whatever, you could call it corporatism and the corporations run it, whatever. It doesn't matter who wins anymore. And that's kind of the point we're getting to. In Canada, they have 2 parties, but the Overton window has shifted so far in one direction that it doesn't matter if it's Doug Ford pretending to be Trump or if it's Justin Trudeau. It's like they're doing the same exact thing. And, you know, even conservatives are doing mask mandates and lockdowns. And in Canada, they're doing checkpoints like you're in, you know, some sort of prison. So that's why I go so hard at the Republicans and even Trump, is because, like, the Overton window under Trump moved so far that he was doing $1 trillion socialism, in my opinion, communism. He helped the lockdown, elevated Fauci, extended it past Easter, you know, rolled out Operation Warp Speed, says he pressured the FDA. I'm not doing it to be edgy, like, oh my God, I'm a fence sitter. It's like, this is the game that politicians play, is they drag you into their world to the point where even if you win, you're not winning, you know? So we have to change the narrative and stop the Overton window, because it's not like you're a bad person if you call out the Republican Party and you're a Republican, or if you're conservative, you can't talk about what they're doing. It's like, no, that's the game that they're playing. They're moving the Overton window so far left that it doesn't even matter if you get 4 years of Trump or 4 years of Ted Cruz or whoever you think you want. They're going to do what they want to do. So it comes down to enough people caring. And in America, enough people care. Canada, enough people don't care. You know, Europe, enough people don't care, or in certain parts. And that's why they're getting away with it. But in Arizona, Texas, you know, in a lot of the parts of those areas, Florida, the illusion is gone, the data's in, and it's over. Because, not because they're worshiping politicians, but because, you know, Ron DeSantis took a step and mostly people stopped playing along. So, you know, we can't look at what I'm doing, and it's not about me, I don't care, but, you know, be like, oh my God, I can't believe An0maly said something about Trump. Like everyone's saying it. No, I'm doing it for that reason. It's not going to work unless you guys hold your own people accountable. So let's see. Sorry, I see some people in here that I tried. I see some people. Let me see. Mr. Roydell Jenkins, I'm going to bring you in. It says Toothless News. I seen you commenting earlier. Hopefully you're still here. 5, 4, 3, 2. Should be in 1 second. Mr. Roydell Jenkins. Let's see. It doesn't look like it's working. I'll wait 5 more seconds. Let's see. I don't know if you left or it's not working. Sorry, brother. I tried. Someone said, bro. I see the complaint comments. I'm not bribable, but I do see when people complain to me in the comments that they want to come in. It does make me want to bring you in more. I think I saw Dimitri called me like anti-Russian or something. I know you didn't mean it, but you're joking. I'll bring you in. Let's see. 5, 4. Okay, you declined. Okay, well, after all the complaining, you decline. Let's see who else we got. I'm trying to see someone who I saw in the comments. My life as Natsuki. Natsuki, you're going to be in 5 seconds, hopefully, if your connection works. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Should be in if your connection's good. Let's see.
Hello.
Got you. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic.
Okay, so yeah, I'm that annoying 17-year-old in your comments. I kept posting that because I noticed that a lot of people were talking about the youth.
Yeah.
I can't say that I know much about the actual political things going on. I can only understand so much. But what I can understand and speak from is how I feel about it and how I feel about watching my peers like fall and become absolute sheep to everything.
Yeah, tell me, and like what's it like for school, and like, you know, as far as from your perspective, what are they doing? Go ahead.
Right now, I'm actually at a performance arts school, and it makes it incredibly difficult because we have the option to be online or at the school, but there's a whole complicated thing where there's a reason I didn't choose to go to school. A big thing right now, though, is the vaccine. There was a new kind of upbringing about some kind of valid theory about the vaccine being turning people into bioweapons or something. I mean, even that just made me feel really scared. And my parents are really big advocates of finding information yourself. And I actually have a relative in Huntington Beach, California, and she said that she's met you a couple of times at like rallies or something. She's a huge fan.
Awesome.
Yeah, she goes on your lives a lot, and she talks about you a lot, and she fills me in with a lot of information. And just my whole message is from a 17-year-old. Sorry, I'm much better when it comes to writing down or typing things, speaking.
Oh, no worries.
So I know where I stand, and I stand in the place which there is no segregation for color, ethnicity, or belief. I stand in the place where true love resides, and that is with God. And I know that not everybody is religious, but I believe that if everyone actually took the time to really stop and think about it, use their brains and their hearts, not just their hearts, because humans are naturally very emotional, and they act very emotionally, and it's kind of like fire on fire situation, which makes nothing better. They would actually see things from a more clear point of view and be able to detect, oh, that's kind of fishy. I should do my own research to that, you know? It's kind of like I see a lot of people, like a lot of my friends, they thrive on their information from CNN, or they just get their news from Instagram reposts. And again, I hate social media. I'm not really on here much, but I just see them reposting these things, and I always want to ask them, did you do your own research, and where did you find this information? You know, I think those are important things to look at. Sorry, I'm kind of rambling. I didn't really expect.
No, that's what it is. I talk enough, so I want people to ramble and tell me their story. So you're great.
Gotcha. Okay.
Hold on, I think it froze up a little bit. Okay, you're good.
Sorry, connection. It might be.
Let me see. Yeah, you should be. I think you're good right now.
Hello. Sorry, that it happens sometimes.
It's okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. You never went out.
Okay. Yeah, I guess you know, it's up to you, but for your, like, at your age group, do you feel like they're happy that this is going on? Like maybe they're not in school, or like they have more free time, or do you think it's making people like more depressed and sadder? Like, because I could see it working both ways in some cases.
Definitely works both ways. I think at the beginning it was very much like, wow, we don't have school for about 2 weeks. That was the initial thing, and then it became 2 months into summer, and then it eventually it got this far. I think by now a lot of people are sick of it, but they're taking the wrong means of escapism, and so things are just getting worse.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I don't want to label myself as Republican because, again, I don't have enough knowledge. But from what I can see, there's extreme liberalists, and then there's extreme Republicans, like extreme left, extreme right. So I myself stand in the middle so that I can see the facts on both ends and make my own decisions. A lot of the people that I am surrounded by, however, are extreme leftists, but I can't blame them because it seems like they don't know better than to just beg for information to be fed to them with like a silver spoon, you know, instead of going out and getting it themselves.
It's way more extreme than when I grew up, as far as like there was always a left skew and I leaned left, but like if you go on, say, like I don't really know TikTok that well, but I would assume there's a lot on there, like say like Snapchat, Instagram, like the push for kids to be liberal is so extreme and over the top. Even like SNL, when I grew up, I never thought of politics. They made fun of both sides, but like it's so crazy over the top that if you're not cognizant of what they're doing, you're going to fall in that category because it's on every app, on every television station, every celebrity. Maybe like Kanye West is the only one who challenges the narrative, but everyone else, it's like, yeah, how at that age you have to be really, really smart, have really good parents, or like, you know, it's nearly impossible. Like I leaned left, and I think if I was growing up, I probably would have been like so much further that way, just based off how I could see they're pushing more.
Right. You mentioned TikTok. I honestly also hate that app because it's so overly controlled, and you know, you can get banned so easily just for saying the wrong thing. And I noticed that a lot with the other social media platforms because they're all controlled by someone who doesn't want the truth to get out. So I wouldn't even be surprised if my account gets blocked after this. But
Should be
yeah,
okay, but
I'm kind of glad you're not on TikTok because that place is a huge mess, and it's geared towards people my age, like the youth, definitely. And there's a lot of peer pressure that goes on there. There's a lot of faking with mental illnesses, and everything that should be taken seriously is kind of taken for granted. It's just very annoying, but it's also.
I hear you. Any last message? Thank you for coming on. You're very brave, and I think a lot of people appreciate your perspective. Like when you were saying it, I wanted to hear what you said because the last live stream, it was a different topic, but I brought on a kid who I believe he was in high school, wrestler, and he was really sad because he couldn't wrestle, and you know, this was really hurting him. And those stories don't get out. They just act like it's totally normal. And I know some people are probably dealing with it well, but I would assume if I was 17 or 16 or 18, I would not be pumped. I mean, you know, my senior year would have been, or junior. It's not ideal to live this way. So yeah, any last message?
Yeah, well, as a performer, it is quite sad that we can't do actual performances at the school that I'm going to. But just last message, I think people need to open their eyes, just overall be more open, be more loving, and do your own research. Don't just believe everything that you're told, you know?
Amen. Thank you so much for coming on.
Have a good day.
You too. All right, I got you off. All right, we're gonna do one more person. I think I said maybe two more because I have a lot of energy, but I do want to edit a video as well. So it's been awesome. First, I want to say thank you to everybody who came on. We had people from New Zealand, Canada. We had people of different ethnicities, different locations, different ages, and I think it's pretty cool to open up the platform and let people speak for themselves, because what really frustrates me about the media, it's not just how wicked they are. I mean, obviously that's most of it, but they so badly want to cover up these stories, like the foster home story. Where else are you even going to hear that? Who's even talking about that? You know, it's crazy how little they want this stuff to come out. But of course, there's many cons and pros of what's going on. We've heard them both here. So I appreciate everybody's perspective. That brought some positivity and also some eye-opening stuff that we wouldn't see. All right, two more. Let's see who I got. Let's see. I'm just going to close my eyes and just pick one. All right. Latakia and King, you're coming on in 5, 4, 3. I know you've been waiting too. So I literally just closed my eyes and picked random. So I got you. 1.
Hello, An0maly. How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I'm very blessed, my man. Thank you for bringing me on board. Thank you.
Of course. I didn't know we met, right?
Absolutely, we met a few times.
I didn't even connect it too, but now that I see you, and that was some God stuff there. I just closed my eyes and clicked. So, how you doing?
I really appreciate you. Yes, I'm the immigration guy. I migrated here from Syria back from 1994. My message here, I came on board is that as an immigrant who migrated here to the United States for a specific reason, and that reason is that I wanted to basically come to a land that is a land of the free. And in order for us to continue that land of the free, I needed to be on the front lines defending what I really believe is basically our freedom of choice, our freedom of choosing whatever we want to do. Even as an immigrant, it is very crucial for us to have enough education, enough information to make our own self-decisions. And when we have our own self-decisions, then basically our decisions will not affect anybody else. When COVID hit, basically I compare it to basically like ISIS attacking Syria. Whatever people's views about Syria and the whole Assad, the whole thing is, but if it wasn't for the government's plan to educate the mass population of Syria, Syria would not have been defeated ISIS. Zero, including the fake media, including Al Jazeera, including BBC, CNN, all the good stuff. If there was not enough of education from the government coming down to the population, that means the government has failed. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to COVID, yeah, we started, 2, and then we went 3, and we went 4, and then, mask, double the mask, and then we started looking for a respiratory system in your rectum. I mean, like, stuff is not starting, like, really not adding up, at all. So stuff like this basically just make you question from the beginning. And when I started working, at that time I was working with Hope Hospital when COVID hit down in Newport Beach. And, just listening, sitting down and just listening to all the ambulatory doctors and all these guys on the call, they're like, oh yeah, we're at capacity. We're very at capacity. And I'm like, I'm an engineer, so I'm an IT engineer, so I'm in the virtualization with VMware. So I'm looking at my board, I'm like, there's nobody using any type of desktops. There's nobody. So I take a walk in the hospital. Everybody's doing TikTok and sing-alongs. I mean, like, if this is something really, it's so, deadly, I mean, like, shouldn't people be in? And let's say, like, even though, you're inside, why are people now starting to have your inside outside, but it's your inside now is outside? So stuff, does not really make sense. So when I came in, when I started, putting 2 and 2 together, I'm like, well, why are the people now standing up? I mean, like, this is your basic rights, your basic fundamental rights that has God given to you, and the founding fathers have given it to you, and they written in stone in the Declaration. I mean, like, don't we like really read the Declaration? And like, why don't we support our Declaration of Independence? It says we the people. It does not say we the government should do this stuff for the people. And if this government was really for the people and really want to spread the message of love and unity and be the number 1 country in the world, why did they limit provided so many economic sanctions on Syria and coming into it, they put so many economic sanctions that we were not able to get any type of medical devices to cure the COVID that the country has hit. Let alone the country has went over 10 years from ISIS, from 180 different countries attacked Syria. And even with the whole entire medical system is on completely collapsed. There's basically no hospitals. There's just field hospitals. They still had a few amount of deaths. We had a little bit over 1,000 deaths. But to show you the medical system between America and the United States, America is the number 1 in the medical system. Why are we not ready for it? So that means there's something wrong. And even when we look into our past messages, into our past administration, they all said, oh, in 5 years we're going to have something similar to Spanish flu. Oh, that was one of Obama's speeches. In 5 or 10 years. Now they're saying something is going to happen in 10 years. I mean, like, why are we not taking the time to stop and think and say, well, you know what, this is happening. Let's read up about COVID. If it's not COVID, okay, let's read up about the strain of COVID. If it's not about COVID, now we're talking about vaccinations. Let's read up about vaccinations. If it's not about vaccinations, now they're talking about vaccine passports. I mean, like, things just keep adding, and people are just not paying attention. Why are we not paying attention? I love this country, and I'm fighting for this country because I moved here for a specific reason. I didn't migrate here so I can migrate right back out of it. That's idiotic. That's really idiotic. So for stuff like this, I really want everybody, any viewers and everybody, despite whatever their belief is, read up, because once we have vaccine passports, this is basically Black Mirror all over again. If you have not watched Black Mirror, watch Black Mirror. It speaks of these days. The social system, the social credit system, even like now they're gonna start bringing the dead back, zombies, all the good stuff. I mean, like whatever they're talking right now, it just does not add up. So why are we taking the time and we let them do all this kind of stuff? And then when we go protest or say something, we're always labeled as, oh, you guys are either far right or far left. I mean, like, don't we like be united at once? Yeah, we're all white, blue, yellow, black, all this stuff, but we are born as Americans. I wasn't born here. But if a black person was born over here, they call him African American. But he's born in America. Why? This is part of the their gimmicks, is that they separate you right before you actually you come out of your mom's thing. Right away. Or oh, you're an immigrant. Why don't you go back to your country? I'll be glad to go back to my own country. As soon as you get your own government to take the forces out of my country, I'll go back.
Yeah.
I have no problem. You know, like that's you know, that's what you want. But I came here for a reason, and that reason is if your people are not able to take the charge of your own government, the people who have been abused for a couple hundred years are gonna come up here to change the game. I mean, like, you know, COVID should not be make us forget who we are. I mean, like, we are human. We have lasted for almost 10,000 years, probably more. And if we lasted for 10,000 years, in about just 1 year, we lost our human values. We lost our connection. We lost our touch. I mean, like, we can't see your loved ones. You're not allowed to go, you know, breathe over here. You're not going to go. You can't go outside with your family. You can't play basketball. I mean, like, they took rings off the basketball. They red tape everything. I mean, like, what are we missing? Is this like really just, you know, ready for the tanks to roll out? I mean, like, this is exactly how 1988 happened in Syria when I was in Syria. In 1988, when the Muslim Brotherhood, they took over the central police system, they defunded the police. They defunded it completely. And then they came, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, we have a polio outbreak. It's a polio outbreak. We're like, okay. At that time, Hafiz Assad, the father of Bashar al-Assad, he was like, oh, where's polio? So he rolled out the tanks. And then they went after him because they were killing people who are Christians, who are non-Muslims, and they're going out, oh, you know what, oh, you guys need the vaccine, you get pulled over to the side, and you never hear back of them from ever again.
Wow. So
the only thing that happens between this lockdown and the 1988 lockdown is that the president over there took matters in his own hands to resolve the problem where the medical system says there is no polio outbreak, we have no clue what's going on. And then when he rolled up to all these tanks, 50,000 Muslim Brotherhood dead, you know, terrorists dead later, they're like, oh, no, sorry, we lied about this. It was not a polio, it was something else.
Wow, so they used something like a health thing like polio, even in the 1988 kind of, wow.
Absolutely. They used it as one of the gimmicks, and once they found out they weren't caught, they tried to go back. And that was the whole reason now during that time is that everybody just migrated right out of Syria right to Saudi Arabia and all the, you know, the Persian countries. The only difference is when I agree with what happened, you know, during the Trump's administration, is that we should build the wall, not to be racist. And I don't mean to be racist, and I'm sorry to all these Latinos and anybody that thinks that is racist. It is not, because I lived through open borders. People who came in, they don't even speak Arabic. They don't even speak the language that I'm in. All of a sudden, they pick up the weapons and they just put it against my head. Either you're in or you get out. I mean, like, why? I mean, like, I came here as an immigrant. I lost 10 years of my life when my dad went through the due process of immigration. I don't know my dad until 1994. I was born in 83. So 1994, I met my dad for the first time because he went through the immigration due process. So you want to migrate here to America? That is absolutely fine. You want to come over here? That's absolutely fine. This is you do right, but follow the rules, because there are set rules. After that, what's going to happen? It becomes illegal. Okay. The third one is that the government or the governor of California has no clue of how to run this country, the state itself. We're burning. We're literally burning over COVID. Okay, if it's really a deadly disease, how come people are now, you know, dropping like flies? Like supposedly, you know, they put it on TikTok in China and stuff like that. And you know, and even China does its own moderation of videos that comes out. So his policies to run this state has ruined the state, because this state was one of the dreams of everybody to come to California. That's why it's called the Sunshine State. Now the Sunshine State is kind of dying down. So I'm really sorry that people are not really waking up, but as an immigrant, I really want you to wake up, because we all need you. Put everything on the side, because if we're not in this together, we're just going to fall apart. Amen. And I don't want you guys to fall apart like my country did.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, An0maly.
Yeah,
I love you guys.
Thank you so much. God bless you, brother.
God bless you. Take care.
Man. Glad I brought him in. He's a great guy. I've spoken to him about Syria when I met him as well. 3 things that stuck out to me, and I'll bring in one last guest. He was talking about California. You know, everyone's like, forget California. It's one of the best pieces of land, I think, in the United States. Weather, economy, it's fantastic. This is from LA Times yesterday. I just brought it up. It says, Facebook, Google, and other corporate giants flooded Newsom with record $226 million in charity donations in 2020. Facebook, Google, and Blue Shield of California are among the companies that contributed a staggering $226 million to government, causing Governor Gavin Newsom's his behalf last year, unprecedented levels of spending that are raising alarms about the influence of large corporations amassing in Sacramento. So It's record number of donations coming from Facebook, Google, Blue Shield to Gavin Newsom. What a lot of people don't realize, both parties, but especially in the left, is when they do healthcare here, Blue Shield is paying him a lot of money because in California, you can't not get health insurance. If I don't get health insurance in California, they penalize me and they take my money. That's not normal. Trump tried to overturn that. It doesn't exist in most states. If you want health insurance, you buy it. If you don't, it's like a car. You don't, if you know, that's smart, I think, especially in America. But they think universal health care is a good thing. But what the liberals do is they just merge, and they hate the corporations. They merge with the corporations, the government, the corporations. They just pay each other off. And now it's like a monopoly where you can't even opt out. And that's really what's happening here, even under Trump. It's like a total, you know, we're held ransom for a year, and these companies run the show. Facebook, Google, Pfizer, Moderna. It's like you don't even have the right to get out of here. So that really stuck out to me. Also, he talked about indoor and outdoor. People need to realize when the numbers were really high in the first 2 weeks, we were stuck inside. They closed down beaches. They closed down churches. They closed down parks. And then a month later, they told you, you can't be inside. You have to go outside. You're not even allowed to eat in restaurants 3 months later. You can only eat outside. So if most people died when they were closing down beaches and parks, you can't just sit inside all the time. That's the least healthy thing you could do. And they know the science now. So do people not realize that first it was don't go outside, don't go anywhere, and then it was don't stay inside or don't go in? It's shocking that people don't get that, but he brought that up. And the third thing, I'm bringing on one more person. I got to go. This guy's a patriot. It's great to see that people, you know, whether you're an immigrant or you're born here, just a patriot who loves and appreciates America, because the people who are destroying America the most is the people who don't appreciate it. And the left side of politics, not to make it too political because we've had a good day, but, you know, the right and the left, the right has more patriots. They love the country. They love the flag. You can say what you want. There's flaws to that too when they get lied to. But on the left, it's like, how can you be spiritual if you don't even love your country? If you don't love yourself, you can't love the world. If you don't love and take care of your city, you can't take care of the country, let alone the rest of the world. And that's what the left has become, is they don't love the country. They don't love their city. They don't care about any of their people. They hate us. They hate our history. They hate our culture. They don't have 1/1000th of the patriotism that immigrant from Syria had, you know, and now American citizen. So they're letting our country get burned and destroyed because they don't like it. And that's coming to the core of like this stuff. I like my smile. I like my face, even if I didn't, like, it is what it is. Like I don't hate myself, so I don't want to live like a submissive, like abused, you know, show animal, and I won't do it. So it's like if they can get you to hate yourself, then they can just toss you around and abuse you. It's like dating someone in an abusive relationship. There's a sick abusive relationship going on between the government and the pharmacy industries. And the only people who seem to be standing up to it are people on the right wing and people who are independent but smart enough, like Russell Brand and Naomi Wolf, to realize, even as a liberal, that this is like big government, big corporate control. At the end of it, corporations and government, communism is a merge of the two. I know people don't think that, but I've read the book. It's a merger. So you think you're fighting the government, but you're making the government bigger, and you're fighting corporations. Apple, Google, they're all in on it. It's like they're working hand in hand with the politicians. But one more person. I've said enough. Let's see. Angie Soros, you're in. Last person. Sorry, I'll do these more often. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then I gotta go within like the next 10 minutes. Angie, you should be on if your connection is good. And what's your message for the world is the message. Let's see if you come up. It looks like it's not working, unfortunately. So gotta bring in one more person. Sorry about that. I tried. Let's see. I'm just going to close my eyes and pick someone at random. All right. Gilbert Nolasco, you're on. I picked you at random. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The question of the day is, what's your message for the world? This has been great. Thank you to everybody who's been watching and, you know, listening. It's been fun. Gilbert, looks like it's not working, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to keep it moving. I'm going to just choose at random again. Sorry. I don't want to, for the last person, I don't want to cherry pick. Let's see. Angie Renee B, Angie B, you're going to be on. That's the pick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You should be on right now. Angie, if you're connected. Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I can't believe I actually get to talk to you. Woo, woo. Yay.
Yeah, you won. How's your day, and what's your message for the world?
I just want to send lots of love to everybody and tell people not to give up, because things are going to get better. And
Amen.
I love you.
Oh, thank you so much. Is that
And go
it?
outside and get a hike, because hiking makes you feel better.
Okay, I'm gonna take your advice. I'm gonna go outside. I'm leaving. But I gotta finish the stream. But I will go outside today. You inspired me.
And if you ever need to cheer up, just hang out with some 4-year-olds because they have the best energy in the world.
Amazing. Thank you. Are you having a good day? It seems like it.
I am now. I don't know.
Well, thank you.
I'm so excited to talk to you. And I really want to say I really, 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 really appreciate how much you've been honest about politics. I find that there's such a liberal bias, especially in Canada with our media. It's so hard to actually get any truth. And I find you to be one of the rare true voices out there, and it always inspires me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're having a good time in Canada. You don't have to say what part, but is it like lockdown? Can you like travel to other provinces, or what's going on there?
I'm not too bad right now. I'm in British Columbia in the Okanagan Valley area called Kelowna. It's really beautiful there. We've got lots of wineries and stuff. The restaurants have been they were open and they were shut, and they were open and they were shut, and it's just like you never know what's going to happen. So right now they're letting patios be open. But actually going into a restaurant, you can't do it. And the wineries are trying to do workarounds where you can come for tastings sort of in these little bubbly pods. And some of them have figured out a workaround, but hiking is still free and available, so that's what I'm doing.
No, I'm making the most of it. It's funny because, those pods are like the peak level stupidity where like you can't go indoors. So they make an indoors outdoors, and they make like an igloo pod where it's literally just a crappier version of the structure they built. Like we invented buildings so we didn't freeze to death and whatever, or like overheat. And then they don't use them and then create these new structures, which are literally just crappier versions of their own building. It's insane.
100%. That's what I thought too. But they were kind of cute. And I was like, well, a little 2-person table. I haven't gone into one yet, but I'm like, oh, maybe on a date night or something. I'll try to figure that out. But I thought at least they look cute. I don't blame like the wineries for coming up with anything they can do to survive, though. I mean, that's the name of the game right now. It's just like, how can you survive? But
you sound like a positive person. I mean, the one pro is I don't like what they're doing in restaurants, but the capacity is allowed for like more space. Like sometimes you're on top of each other. Now you have more space. There is a real positive there.
Totally. Sorry, I'm getting interrupted.
No, it looks like someone's trying to steal the show. It's hey.
I'm sorry for that. He's just kind of hilarious and runs around and dances a lot.
Don't be sorry that he made the live stream. It's all good. Does he ask him if he has a message for the world?
I'm not sure why he's singing songs about chicken wings, but he's very excited about it.
Before we go, can we ask him if he has a message for the world? Can we see what he says right now?
Oh, Gabriel. Hey, baby. Sweetie. We've got a really nice guy here, and he wants you to know if you have a message for the world. Do you have anything good to say to him?
Yeah. I love you.
How am I?
He loves you.
Good. Oh,
he said, I love you.
Oh, thank you so much.
You say it again. Say, I love you.
I love you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sorry, you're getting a tour through my messy house with like random shoes all over the place and kids' messes everywhere. So embarrassing.
Oh, no, I'm sure people are having a great time. Thank you so much. Any last words? Because I have to take off in like a couple minutes. Any last words?
Don't get the take lots of vitamins and zinc and vitamin D and vitamin C and mushroom extract. I hear that's awesome. And hang out with kids.
All right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Love you.
Have a good day. Bye. All right. So I'm going to take off right now. Thank you guys so much. That was fun. Got a lot of perspectives, the good, the bad, and the ugly with what's going on. People with positive messages for the world, with messages of warning and caution with what's going on from New Zealand, Canada, all sorts of stuff, Chicago, old, young, in the middle. We had a little bit of everything, man, woman, how we do it here. So that was fantastic. I always have a great time doing this, and it's really, really fun. And especially days like, to be honest, I'm pretty good at public speaking now. I wasn't always. I used to be more shy, and I would say I was not a good performer when I started rapping, but now I'm better. But it gets a little stressful sometimes. I'm not going to lie. I got the things in my face. I know I'm live, so I don't want to mess up. I'm not that nervous, but some days like today, I'm in a good mood. I have a lot of energy, but I don't feel like talking for an hour or two. So I'd love to hear other people's perspectives. It's a win-win. It gives me somewhat of a break, and it also allows me to share people's perspectives. And it really hits hard hearing all these different perspectives. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. I'm gonna do more of these live soon. And I'm gonna put this whole thing, I'm pretty sure, on YouTube and Facebook, and let that live stream on Facebook and YouTube. And I'm guessing this is probably gonna get, like I said, I don't know, maybe 50 to 100,000 views on Facebook, probably like 10 to 50, 60,000 on YouTube. So it's gonna reach probably over 100,000 people, and hopefully people are inspired by your messages. Thank you guys so much. God bless you. And before I leave, I mean, this is probably backwards, but if anybody orders stuff, these hats, the God bless, they're probably backwards, whatever. God bless beanies. And then this says, is thinking illegal yet? It's kind of trolling social media for kicking you off. But that's what it is, dreamrare.com, same as my Instagram name, dreamrare. And they're selling out for the most part. And I'm doing it all in the US and like warehousing is. So I'll just buy more. Thank you guys. And hopefully if you ordered, a lot of people are getting them. Appreciate you guys so much, especially with what's impending in the demonetization. I'm not gonna lie, everything's fine, but I'm trying to save up as much as I can now because it's getting pretty creepy out there. So I don't want to, I don't want them to shut my stuff down. But whatever. Thank you guys for supporting. Have a good day. If you like my hat, you can get one for yourself. The God Bless hats made in the USA, and they'll ship pretty quickly. White hats. It's got a Velcro in the back and an American flag tag in the back as well. Way Too Jack for the Gulag shirts, Is Thinking Illegal Yet shirts, and also Black God Bless beanies. Check them out, dreamrare.com. If you like them, dreamrare.com. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'll see you soon.